Yes, one of the difficulties that I found in talking about the scapular, and when I'd visit the lay Carmelite communities, people would ask, did Our Lady say anything in recent times about the scapular? So I'd refer back to the fact that in the last vision at Fatima, she came dressed in the habit of Carmel. She was holding the infant in her left arm, as we always picture her, and she was holding out the scapular. And I said, now that's one of the conditions of the scapular message and the message of Fatima, and really the sign of consecration to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Well, people would say, Lucy hasn't said anything about that. We don't think that's one of the conditions of the Fatima message. There are only 4 conditions. And so what I did was go to Fatima with the permission of the Carmelites, leading a pilgrimage, and interviewed Sister Lucy.
Now that's not easy, because not many people are allowed to
that's right.
to talk to Sister Lucy. I mean, that's a rare privilege.
Well, there was the Carmelite in charge of our center in Lisbon, who made the arrangement for me to see her. And I saw her in the convent at Coimbra, where she's a cloistered nun. And I asked her in that interview if Our Lady had appeared as Our Lady of Mount Carmel. Well, she said, yes, Our Lady came. Well, how did Our Lady appear? And she thought a moment, and she said, she looked like the picture in the parish church. And I had already visited the church at Algestrel, and it's Our Lady over the Purgatory.
I see. This picture that you showed me here.
Yes. And it has...
so again, she's reiterating the doctrine, the dogma of purgatory that we're talking about too, right?
And so I said, well, what did Our Lady mean? Well, she said Our Lady meant that we should wear the scapular. Well, I said, how do you know that? Because people were asking me the same question. She said, looked at me, you know, I being a Carmelite too, she said, Father, I saw the Blessed Mother, and I know what she meant. She held out the scapular but said nothing. But she said, when someone holds out something, it means you should take what they are holding out. So she said, I consider it to be one of the necessary conditions of the Fatima message. The sign, really, of consecration.
Right, the sign of consecration.
And I asked her on that occasion, there was a Franciscan with us, and different ones were saying, when you get in there, write down to ask her this question. So I had a book full of questions, and I said, here's a question that Father so-and-so, the Franciscan, asked me to ask you, and it doesn't seem right that I should ask you in this moment. I said, it says, which is more important, the saying of the daily rosary or the wearing of the scapular, a sign of consecration? And she looked at me and smiled, and she said, the rosary and the scapular are inseparable.
Inseparable. Well, that's a beautiful way to put it.
Yes,
it really
that's as far as the Fatima message is concerned.
Now, Father, what was the specific promises that Our Lady then made?
Well, that whoever would die wearing this garment would not see eternal fire.
Now, Father, isn't there some implication in those words that the Church has recognized? Because on the surface it would seem as if it would either be superstitious or false. Because if I just simply have to wear a scapular, then I can wear it and do whatever I wish and die and be assured of salvation.
Yes. Well, we, of course, have affirmed again and again with the Church that it's not a superstition, that when one puts the scapular on, there's also the obligation of imitating the virtues of the Blessed Mother. And we always say, well, the prayers of Mary will be with her children, and she'll see to it that the individual who wears the scapular will die in God's grace.